I'm in the game, I was on the bench. First I was renting, now I'm collecting rent. First it with the Beamer, now I want the Benz. Spending all the bag like here I go again. Outside says chirp, now the camera.
Hi guys, and welcome back to another video. In this video, as you can see, we're going to be working on Sandman. And again, as you can see, it's already, a Sandman figure. It's from the original Sam Raimi trilogy series. Came out, I don't even know how, 2007 is like, shit, I don't even know how many years that is, to be honest, like 14 years? Shit, bro. But anyways, beginning with just doing a white primer on the face. Later on, when we add the skin tones, it's going to be very nice to use a white base coat. I recommend this a lot when doing faces, and overall, like, majority of things is good to use a white base coat, just so that like the paint that you apply is vibrant. It's not like desaturated, or you don't have to do too many coats. So that's very much recommended. And yeah, as you can see, the legs broke off. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna design and 3D print and attach a couple of leg stumps. As you can see, I'm working on them now. And yeah, so the idea is for them to match basically the arms and stuff, that the arms and hands that the Sandman has with all the texture. So I started with some cones, like a cone shape. I cut the top and the bottom off, and then I just started shaping them with like this big rock texture. And I'm adding in the little rock details to get really like, it's like little rocks, but then when you really accumulate a lot of them, it looks like sand. It just looks like big chunks of sand with all the texture all throughout. It just comes out really nice, really textured, and when 3D printing it, it just comes out super clean. So what I'm doing is just dispersing this texture throughout evenly. Every now and then it's smoothing a little bit just so it blends in nicely. And yeah.
Nowadays nothing really excites me. Only one of me and nobody's like me. Phone ringing and I tell him it's icy. I got wifey on bling and she icy. Freeze, photo, please, no photos. No, G's, no, please, no photos. Nowadays nothing really excites me. Only one of me and nobody's like me. Phone ringing and I tell him it's icy. I got wifey on bling and she icy. Freeze, photo, please, no photos. No, G's, no, please, no photos.
What I'm doing now is splitting both of them into their own individual, object, because earlier I just had them both. And so the reason why I'm going to split them is so that I can first do like these flat cuts on there, so they can like sit flush with the piece of the leg. And also because I want to rotate them slightly at an angle, like sort of inward and upward, so that because the legs are a bit of an angle too, they're not like just straight up and down. So I want to make sure of that. And yeah, here it is all 3D printed. I also 3D printed a head of lizard, because I thought they were gonna do like a snout, more like the comics for the movie. But after the new trailer came out, I noticed that that wasn't true. They were gonna go with the classic 2012 look. A bit disappointing, but nonetheless, that was a little waste of time. But right now, what I did off camera, I just added a piece of clay and just stuck it onto the stump, and then just pressed it up against the leg, so it would make that imprint, the shape, so it would like lock in nicely. Let that dry for a couple hours, then come back and I'm just adding the super glue, just keeping it stuck there. And then I'm just adding both of them to both legs, and then also making sure like how I want it to pose, how I want the legs to be basically, because like once they're there, they don't really move that well. And now what I'm doing is just all the sand details and the face, I'm adding this sand color all throughout. Just it's a nice light base coat all throughout. And this brand of paint, it's Vallejo Mecha, and it's pretty good. It has nice durability, so it's pretty nice, and it's pretty like liquidy. And now what I'm doing right now is doing a brown wash. So it's basically I mix brown paint with water and just apply it all throughout all the sand bits everywhere. And it gets in just the little recesses and the little cracks, and it really accentuates the texture and the details, both like the ones that are already present in the figure and the new ones that are in the 3D printed parts that I added. So it just comes out nice. And also brushing just like the highlights a little bit to clean off the tops of all like the rocks and everything. Comes out nicely. Then base coating the pants in just a normal mid-tone brown, and the whole shirt all in green. Covering even the blue sections green, just making it nice one straight color. Painting the hair brown as well. And I'm gonna do a wash on the pants so that they get a bit of a darker tone. And later on, I'll like do the same thing with the fiber cloth and just sort of brush the highlights a bit. And everything else from here is pretty self-explanatory.
But never let go of this year. All of that bullshit is in my rear. Hey, blue tint papers, blowing vapors, wouldn't trade this. Long hair killer in my villa, bitch, I made it. Used to play to play, now I think we major now. She wanna lay me down.
And adding also a black wash on the shirt too, just to really, it has a lot of texture on it too, so I wanted to make sure it was still there, like you can really notice it and I guess appreciate the detail they added. And now what I'm going to be using are these pigments, which is basically like paint but in a powder form, and they're nice to use in this case because like we're trying to like replicate sand, so you want to give it that powdery sort of look. So I'm just liberally applying this all over. I have this light tone, which is a nice sand color. I'm just applying it all throughout, giving it that nice like dry and like powdery look that we want sand to have. Just applying it all throughout. It's just gonna stick, and then later when we add the varnish, the sealer, it's gonna make sure it's still kept in there. And on some of the sections I use a darker brown pigment, and a little bit on the pants too, just to give that like sort of denim look. And beginning on the face, I don't want to go in detail how I did it, so I start with this darker like a pinkish brown color as a base all throughout. Then on the forehead, nose, the upper cheekbones, and on the two left and right top sides of the lips, I do a highlight piece, a little bit on that chin and the ears. And those are the main sections where you want to really highlight and like accentuate the sculpt. Do a little bit on the neck, on the back of the neck too, and then progressively get a lighter tone. So you start with that darker like pinkish brown, and you increasingly add more white to the paint mixture, and then you make the area smaller. So the forehead, the area that you want to, that's becoming lighter, becomes increasingly smaller. And at the end, just add the eyeballs and the pupils. He has blue eyes, so I added the blue pupils. Goddamn. Then add a little white speck in there, just to have that little reflective look. The eyebrows, and that was pretty much it for this custom. It was, like I said, pretty easy, but I did want to go in detail with the painting scheme and all that. And lastly, adding this matte varnish from Vallejo, and that was pretty much it for this custom. Yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and please consider subscribing.
Do good, do great, and they talk bad on you. No need, no face, cause they're not factual. I won't stay too long here, I'm just passing through. I might hit the bank and get a bag or two. My mama asked me why you got that cash on you. Second you switch up, they might get mad at you. No, you're not my friend, so no, I'm taxing you. You're all like my sons, I'm going dad on you. Okay, good job, good job. Get mine, no prob. Hit my line, you're irking me. I hit that woosah. No, I don't got perks on me. I sleep good on God. Spend that money, make it reappear. Ta-da. I've been getting paid. I've been eating good.